Well, the penultimate round, round 17 of the URC has just concluded, and it wasn't quite as we expected all to go. Yeah, the Stormers not really giving us the performance that we were looking for, but I suppose a draw is better than a loss. Unable to hold on to the number one spot within the URC yet again, but we'll have to see what happens forward from here on end. The Bulls, yeah, basically giving us a performance that we are getting used to right at the moment. Very strong, very dominant within their play. And the quite a biggest upset that we've experienced so far is the Lions in their game, and unfortunately not being able to pull up the mast over there. But without any further ado, let's kick it off and talk rugby. Well, the Stormers kicked the weekend off last Friday in quite a match against Ulster, and boy, these Irish really didn't wait on themselves. Really pulling out all the stops from the word go. They played a very strong game with absolute dominant line breaks and all of that, making a lot better sort of backline attack movements that we've seen so far. The Stormers obviously trying to keep up with a lot of quick ball movements and trying to strike a bit of a balance between forward and backline attacks. Some of them quite successful. Sasha Famakumuzulu once again surprising everyone and delivering for us the performance that he is literally so well known for. There is a couple of issues though. Warwick Galant, unfortunately not playing his best in this game, twice leaving a back door wide open for Van der Koch to get through, scoring 2 tries for the team of Ulster in the first half, I believe it was. So it was a bit of a seesaw matchup between these two teams, really strong teams in this penultimate matchup before now the final round is hitting us, and after that the playoffs or the knockout rounds as they call it. Well, very strong play by both teams, and Ulster basically with most to lose, I suppose, and Stormers also. Not really that much to lose, but at this point they've lost the number one spot. Unfortunately, since Glasgow Warriors managed to win their game for the last weekend as well, so it is unfortunately now lying with them 61 points right at the top, 60 points right at the top, with Stormers right behind them on their heels at 59. So definitely, it's heating up. It's really heating up now, going on to the final stages of the race to the 8. And I'm sure we're going to be seeing a lot better performances here from here on. This is going to be entertaining out of the top shelves for the URC. Can't wait. Also, Ivan Roos not playing the best he can, honestly. And this is why, Ivan Roos is so much known as a kind of a loose cannon from time to time. He could really push some really fantastic plays and contribute absolute excellency to the Stormers team. And then there's some points where he just absolute blunders the hell out of it. 2 try-scoring opportunities absolutely thrown away by Ivan Roos, committing really poor decision-making and discipline, or showing poor discipline within the game, tackling a player off the ball with just right next to the ruck, while the Stormers are right on the try line. And then for another infraction where I think it was a side entry by him, also on a very strong attack move, I think about 5-10 meters out of from the Ulster try line, and he just goes ahead and absolutely bundles it up. Yuri Mattia also being punished for the side entry by him, sort of blundering another really strong attack movement by the Stormers. Still, it is these unforced errors and ill discipline that really eventually cost the Stormers some much needed points. Both teams basically ending it up in a bonus point, and like I said, played a draw at 38 points each. So definitely a lot more improvement that can happen for the Stormers there. It's these guys. They need to absolutely start thinking of what do they want more. Do they want the championship or not? Or is it just, quarterfinals, semifinals, and that's going to be enough for them? I don't believe so. I mean, these guys want to win. They've got something to prove. And so they've really got to pull out all the stops. And Yuri Mattia getting that yellow card simply because there was just too many infractions happening. Too much ill discipline by the Stormers. And then we've got Doak also going off for about 10 minutes on the Ulster side. Also very much, committing too many penalties right on, in their 22. And then, of course, Henderson. I'm really sorry for this dude, but honestly, it's up to him. He's got to watch those movements. He's got to watch the discipline. Getting a red card, 20-minute red card, going off the field for an intentional croc roll on Dion Fourie, injuring Dion's knee, getting him removed from the game. He's obviously trying to carry on as much as he can, but unfortunately, the inevitable just happened and he was removed from the game. Sasha van Magumazulu pulling an excellent match, scoring one try himself, converting it himself. His kicking boots was really on point, except for that, I don't know what it was, but that drop goal attempt right at sort of, in the second half. That was just so funny. I mean, must have hit his boot on a really bad spot because it just, traveled flat over the heads of the players. And just, distance was there, just not the direction at all. Really flat kick, basically going off the deadline on the opposite end. Just absolutely no lift on that kick whatsoever. But I suppose, you win some, you lose some. But he really played an exceptional match this weekend. Imad Khan also really pulling up all the stops and honestly showing his mettle as well. Ivan Ruiz did manage to kind of get a try right at the beginning of the game, but in this kind of crucial moments where you are like literally neck on neck, 38 points all, for you to then go and blunder a penalty right on the try line of Ulster was just, I don't know. Ivan is really got to watch he's got to watch his temper, number one, because it kind of came off a, sort of a clearing by one of the Ulster players that knocked him off of the ruck. He subsequently just got up and then decided to storm the guy that's closest to him. I don't know if it was out of frustration or just lost his temper, but honestly, it cost them 5 points, which they could have had. There was a lot more, how shall I say, field awareness and tactical awareness by the Stormers. So that is pretty much getting aced and worked out. So it is basically just the unforced errors and then the discipline that needs to be addressed, that needs to be worked on. There has been matches in the past where their discipline was absolutely excellent, only conceding about 5 penalties for the entire match. So definitely they can do it. They honestly can do it. They just need to focus. And Ivan Ruiz needs to keep his temper in check. You do want a guy that is a very powerful enforcer that can honestly pull his weight and give us those dominant carries. Especially like Ivan. I mean, that try of his was just absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's just luckily for the Stormers, I think it was just basically sheer luck, their penalty try right at the end, but an absolute brilliant call by Andrea Piardi. I can't fault his refereeing one bit in this match. Well done to the TMO also for spotting the croc roll on Dion Fourie that earned Henderson his red card, unfortunately. But it is his duty to make sure that he clears the ruck, misses the clearing, going completely over Dion Fourie as he's contesting for the ball, then subsequently decide to actually change that just into a croc roll. Now, I suppose that's probably a desperation move, but still, got to keep that discipline in check. Otherwise, this is basically gonna happen. But really well played by him as well. Doak made some absolute brilliant try conversions for Ulster as well. Van der Kok playing a hell of a game, and I can see why he is really so sought after overseas, especially by the Irish, where he's been playing now for a while. So definitely he's going to go far still. Ex-Blitzbock and former Sharks player. Honestly, still very strong in club rugby. Now, for the Lions game, and there is a couple of issues that I'd like to cover here because it was quite surprising. You don't expect this kind of level of refereeing from somebody like Holly Davidson. She's performed absolutely brilliant in previous matches. But the disallowed try from Siba Mahashe, I don't think that was really justified. I mean, how far back do you want to go to find a reason not to award a try? I mean, the Siba Mahashe try was absolutely brilliant. Very strong run. Fantastic tactical line break there from the Lions. And they really brought the energy like they always do in every single game. But they go back, I mean, I don't know what she deemed or the TMO deemed at the time. And I don't think that this call was really Holly Davidson's fault or problem, because I think that she allowed the try, and it was the TMO that made the erroneous judgment call when they were in a more basically, I can't remember who it was. I think it was Smith. I'm not sure. No, I don't think it wasn't Smith at all. But one of the Lions players basically going for a clear. Sort of over the ruck. At the moment when the scrum off picks up the ball and goes to pass, for his first receiver, the player then basically disengages from clearing of the maul. The ball has been picked up; it's being played. So, in my opinion, the scrum off is fair game. At that point, the ball is out. The play is active, and you can engage, you can tackle. It's basically when the ball is still part of the ruck that you cannot touch the scrum off. You're not allowed to play him. You're not allowed to engage him or whatever, knock the ball out of his hand, that kind of thing. As soon as he picks up the ball and the ball emerges out of the ruck, he's fair game. So immediately the Lions player tackles, or the Lions defender tackles, the Leinster scrum off, and immediately the play continues as far as Holly Davis is concerned. No infraction has been committed as yet, and she allows play on. Siba Mahashe scores his try. She obviously calls on the TMO. It's like the on-field decision is a try. Is there any reason why she shouldn't award a try? Now that is pretty standard practice, because a referee realizes that they can't see everything. They can't be everywhere. TMO basically comes back, says, okay, there was an player coming up from the outside. He basically walks over the ruck and then according to him and his opinion, engages the scrum off prematurely, illegally. So in a tackle. So it's a bit of a grey area, but I don't believe that the call was absolutely right there. Holly Davidson then, well, the one issue there was with the second try of Leinster, where I think it was awarded to Clarkson, just off pick and drive by Sam Prendergast as well, and you could clearly visibly see Clarkson being extremely confused because I don't think he thought he was on. I don't think he actually thought that ball was on the line at all. It was a pick and drive. He went in, and Lions, I believe, successfully stopped him. He went down in front of the line, and yeah, but the try was still awarded. And I think he got up and he looked visibly confused. Honestly, I mean, Clarkson himself, yeah, looked visibly confused, but the try was awarded. So yeah, it's just it's weird. But that is basically the one issue that I have with that call by Holly Davidson. I don't believe that should have been a try awarded in the first place there. But it was a absolutely very tough game by the Lions and Leinster, both teams playing a really hard game. The Lions giving it their all. Unfortunately, not having a lot of answers on defense for the Leinster attacks, with 3 tries being scored right at the sort of in the second half of the game, and two tries by Leinster in the first half, only 1 try by Kewan Horn. No, it was Frankie Horn, excuse me, in the first half, converted by Smith, and that was basically the only points that the Lions actually scored, with a final score of 31-7. Leinster doing very well for themselves. I think they were very delighted that they managed to actually beat the Lions on that game, because it's very crucial for them, especially with their position within the top 8 as well. Leinster lying only 3rd on the log. At this point, Lions basically making up the 5th position. But I think with their victory from last weekend, they secured themselves the 5th spot. And I don't think that, very little is going to move them at this point. It's only now the 18th round that's coming up this weekend. And I think, they are pretty much secured. They are pretty much secured in their position at 5th spot. The Bulls basically coming up now in 4th spot, and they made a huge push in this last game. I mean, especially coming in the second half, that was just a try fest, and you started feeling so sorry for the Zebre Parma guys. They played a hell of a game. Massive defensive efforts, with a massive, amount of tackles by them. Trula also scoring a fantastic try for them. The first points on the board for Zebre Parma. Roger really had his hands full, only converting that try by Tula in the first half, converting Dominique's try in the second half. Rabaldi unfortunately got no conversion for his try, but I mean, on the Bulls side, holy crap. I mean, these guys were running circles, and it was powerful drives. First try, but a fantastic line break by the Bulls, giving Willie Leroux the opportunity to actually score the try. Second one by Moody, Uester Peterson, and that was only within the first half. They literally got their bonus point before half time. And then from there on, it was from Mark, Hanekom, Foster, Rudolph, scoring the final try sort of in the dying minutes of the game. So it was, unfortunately, a valiant effort by Zebre Parma, but didn't have any answers for the Bulls. That's absolute dominant power of the Bulls, especially their front row, that just couldn't be held back. Even though they really tried, really tried. Unfortunately, it just wasn't to be. But yeah, and then the Sharks beating Benetton 46-7. What a score. And what a score margin. But at this point, literally nothing could have been done. They out of the race right now. They do have a game this coming weekend, but there's nothing that they can do. They've missed the opportunity. Currently lying 10th on the log. There's just no way they're going to be able to move up 2 paces to knock Ulster out of the 8th position for the top 8. It's just not going to happen. I don't see it. Sharks sitting with only 41 points. The very next one up, Connacht sitting at 49. So it's just not. It's not realistic. It's not going to happen. But they had a valiant run in this year's URC. So yeah, wishing them all the best forward. They're probably going to start, kind of focusing now. Hopefully, if they did manage to get into next year's Investor Cup, they're probably going to be focusing on that, or EPCR. But yeah, unfortunately, the URC game will be ending, or the URC contribution for this championship will be ending now this coming weekend, as they're basically facing off against Zebre Parma. Another, win probably almost guaranteed there. But it's too little too late, I'm afraid. Bulls taking on Benetton. They're going to have it quite easy. It's just the Italian teams, clubs haven't been doing very well this year. Lions are going to have a difficult though. They're taking on Munster this coming Saturday. It's going to be playing it away, I think. Being officiated by Andrea Piardi. They're going on to the Thomond Park in Ireland. So to be basically facing off against Munster. A tough opponent. Absolutely tough opponent. So they're going to really need to work at it and get their discipline, get their defense up. I think at this point, the competition is going to get a lot more tougher, moving into the quarters, semis, and then finals. So they're going to have to really start working on their defense. They can't just rely on attacks the whole time. They're going to need to keep the attackers at bay while still mounting a very balanced kind of forward and backline attack movements. Also, tactics. I mean, one thing that I'm seeing seriously lacking on the South African team side, and the reason why Ulster has been managing to actually just get line break after line break after line break in last week's match, is the fact that they keep, like I've said a few times, they suck the defender in, okay, before they offload the ball to the next man. And this is the kind of tactics. If you can manage to suck even 2 defenders in before you could offload, maybe wait for the initial contact before you can offload, that is how line breaks happen. And Ulster has demonstrated to us last weekend exactly just how brilliantly it can and how easy it can happen once you execute that tactic as masterfully as they have. So very well done to Ulster. Really hard game played. 38, sort of draw of 38 points all to Stormers and Munster or Ulster, at that stage. But yeah. This is basically where it's coming to now. Round 18, up and coming now. I think Friday is going to be Cardiff, the number 7th ranked team, are going up against Stormers. And it's going to be a hard match. Ulster's taking on Glasgow Warriors. Edinburgh going up against Connacht. On Saturday, we've got Sharks going on Zebre, like I've already said. The Bulls taking on Benetton. Leinster squaring off against Ospreys. Going to be seeing how, between those 2 teams, it's going to be a tough one. Really, I think Leinster is really finding their stride at this point. Scarlets are taking on Dragons. 2 of the sort of lowest ranking teams, saying it's probably still going to be quite an interesting match. And like I already said, the Munster up against Lions is going to be very tough. I really hope the Lions are going to sort out the little kinks. Yeah, Van Rooyen is going to have to take the boys and just sit them down, get them to maybe focusing a bit more on defense, also the unforced errors and everything. But I do believe that those 2 crucial missed calls, both by the TMO and Holly Davidson, could have just really swung the match a bit. I don't think, the scoreboard would have looked a bit different. Would it have changed the outcome? I don't think so. Because Ulster was just, not Ulster, sorry, but Leinster was just, comfortably ahead at that point. although another 2 tries by the Lions could have been a bit more, could have helped a bit more for their confidence, possibly putting some more points on the board. But yeah, unfortunately, not to be. But, it's these things happen. Sometimes calls made by the TMO or the referee can have a bit more of a direct impact on a game, but I don't think that was the case in this one. Leinster was just a better team, unfortunately. Although the Lions brought their energy, they brought their tactics, they played really well. Unfortunately, at this stage, it just wasn't their game. Their defense kind of dropped them, and then also, the unforced errors, the discipline also has to, they have to look out for that. But yeah, it is an exciting weekend to look forward to. Really hoping that we're going to be able to see some really massive action. Cardiff taking on Stormers. I do believe Cardiff is not a weakling. Okay, so yeah, the Cardiff Rugby Football Club is that they've done really well for themselves, slotting themselves into the 7th position with 50 points. They are kind of equal with Ulster at the moment, but I hope the Stormers is going to be able to mount a massive counter-attack this time around. They're 1 point behind Glasgow Warriors. If we could secure a victory over Cardiff with a bonus point, maybe we should be able to again slot the number 1 spot. And that is to say, if Glasgow Warriors manage to either lose or win without a bonus point, that might swing the tables a bit, and we might see the Stormers back on the number 1 spot, which will give them a bit more of a favourable position going into the knockout rounds. Yeah, getting a bit more favourable opponents. And then we'll be saying goodbye to the other 8 teams as they'll be going home. Unfortunately, Sharks, even though they are playing this weekend, it's their last round. They will be coming home there. And then obviously, a little bit of an update on Ethan Hooker. He's going to see a specialist now for his shoulder, and there might be a possibility of surgery. Unfortunately for the young man, like I said, he's going to be out for the next foreseeable future. Probably going to miss the rest of the URC, going to miss the opening matches of the Springboks this coming June. So, but from there on, we hope he's going to be back soon and with the team, because he's honestly probably one of the highest contributors to, aside from Sasha Famagomzulu and Kenan Moody and all those other guys. He is quite a huge asset to the team, and it'll be really sad to see him knocked out for the rest of the year. So I'm hoping he's going to make a quick recovery. We'll be seeing him back in the green gold. Maybe just not for the first 1 or 2 games, but after that, hopefully. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. That's it from me for this week. Just shot me a like and a follow and a subscription to the channel, because it really just it helps out. It really does with the algorithm and all of that. And please leave me your comments in the comments field below. What do you think? What did you think of Holly Davidson's performance? Do you agree with me? Was the Lions number 14 always offside at that point? Because, he came in for clearance. He came to clear the ruck. And for him to then immediately switch from clearing the ruck to tackling the scrum off, I don't think was offside at all. He just basically switched immediately. The ball came out, and he then immediately went in for the tackle. I think it is kind of borderline, and that's probably why the call was made as always offside, but I don't think so. He came in for a clear. He was part of the ruck. He literally attached himself to the ruck as he came in for that clearance move. So I don't think offside was probably the right call there. And then of course let me know what you think. The allowed try, which technically in my opinion should not have been a try. That ball was before the line. It was not grounded on the line as far as, from my perspective that I could have seen. And also Clark himself he was visibly confused. He didn't like, oh, this is a try. Oh, okay. Didn't quite get it, but accepted the result nonetheless. Kind of probably figuring the ref has seen something that he didn't. But yeah, from my point of view, that was clearly in front of the line, not over the line, and should not have been awarded. But let me know what you think. What is your opinion? What is your opinion on the Stormers' performance from last weekend? Where do you think they can improve themselves? And what does the Lions need to do to actually, keep securing their spot within the top 8? It's only one round to go. And the competition is going to get a lot more tougher from here on end. What do you think they need to be doing? What they should be focusing on going into this game against Munster this weekend coming? But anyway, guys, thank you very much for joining me in this absolute cold Cape Town, as we are really going into winter at this point. Take care of yourselves and your loved ones. I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. Peace out.
Patience their defence at the moment. Zebre, it's a loose ball towed through by Looking. It's a foot race. Ulster
taken over.
Showing some great strength as Ulster now. Kenan Moody opens up for Moody, steps inside. Moody, they could go the way here. The ball's DeVet. DeVet ball in hand with Kenan Moody on the outside. Moody switching it over the top for Bessel. It's a loose ball. The pick up from Benny Leroux. Over you go.